Picture this, a gentleman positioned at the center of a bustling engagement celebration, shoulders squared, voice resonating, proclaiming to every willing listener about his breathtaking new bride-to-be. The bubbly cascades freely. The merriment swells, yet suddenly the entrance doors swing wide. Through them steps his former wife, fingers intertwined with a wealthy magnate. The gathering falls into complete stillness. His grin becomes rigid. Every eye focuses upon them. And in that instant, the gentleman understands his boasting is on the verge of spectacular collapse. What unfolds thereafter will test affection, vanity, and the fundamental essence of achievement. Remain with me through to the conclusion because this tale transcends shattered pride. It concerns rediscovering what genuinely holds value. Daniel had perpetually been a gentleman who required others to perceive him as accomplished. At 38, he lacked substantial wealth, yet he maintained impeccable attire, projected his voice beyond necessity, and conducted himself as though fortune had consistently favored him. This evening marked his engagement celebration, and he remained resolved to render it memorable. His intended, Claire, embodied everything he believed others would covet. Gorgeous, compassionate, brilliant, yet most significantly, she represented someone who enhanced his appearance. As melodies filled the air, Daniel elevated his flute for the third occasion. "Observe her," he declared to a cluster of long-time companions and remote relatives. "She represents the type of woman gentlemen fantasize about, and she selected me. Following everything I have endured, I have recovered gracefully. Isn't she flawless?" Claire, displaying her tender expression, attempted to guide him toward modesty, yet Daniel flourished under scrutiny. He discussed her marketing profession, her empathy, even her exceptional bread-baking abilities. Yet beneath these praises lurked something deeper, a gentleman demonstrating to society his recovery from matrimonial dissolution. The dissolution, that remained a trauma he seldom acknowledged, continued to cause pain. His former spouse, Amelia, had departed 2 years prior following 5 years of stormy matrimony. She had grown exhausted by his craving for validation, his fixation with position, and his failure to remain emotionally available. Amelia desired tranquility, not performance. Upon her departure, Daniel vowed to reconstruct more grandly, more boldly, more impressively. This evening, this celebration represented his triumphant circuit. Yet precisely as his mirth echoed throughout the venue, the entrance doors parted. Heads pivoted. Quietude swept through the assembly. There she appeared, Amelia, refined, poised, radiating that identical serene presence she perpetually possessed. However, this occasion, she remained accompanied. Her fingers were secured tightly with those of Robert Lang, a billionaire businessman whose countenance appeared recognizable from publications and economic reports. Robert towered above Daniel, more mature yet authoritative, attired modestly though possessing the confidence wealth alone cannot purchase. The gathering drew sharp breaths. Murmurs commenced. Daniel's chest constricted. Claire's fingers withdrew from his limb. For the initial moment that evening, Daniel found himself speechless. Daniel's thoughts churned chaotically. What brought Amelia here? What prompted this timing? He manufactured a grin, though it trembled beneath Robert's effortless assurance. Robert refrained from boasting, avoided loud self-introductions. He merely acknowledged the host, expressed gratitude for permitting their brief visit, and maintained Amelia's proximity. Her gaze flickered with a tenderness Daniel hadn't witnessed in years, a tranquility she had never discovered with him. Attendees whispered, drawing comparisons, rendering judgments. Daniel sensed it within their stares. Amelia had elevated her circumstances. He had been supplanted not merely as a spouse, but as a gentleman of significance. His bride-to-be's comforting pressure upon his shoulder provided minimal relief against the tempest raging within him. The evening's remainder passed like a haze. Daniel attempted recovery, crafting additional humor, projecting greater volume, yet his utterances rang empty. He observed how Claire's expression dulled, how she regarded him with subdued disappointment. That evening, following the guest's departure, she finally spoke. "Daniel, do you genuinely love me? Or do you simply love what I symbolize to you?" Her words penetrated more deeply than Amelia's arrival ever could. For the first occasion, Daniel acknowledged internally that much of his existence was constructed upon superficiality. He didn't cherish Claire for her authentic self. He valued her for the image she projected of him. And Amelia, she hadn't departed from hatred. She departed hoping he would discover himself without requiring the world's validation. The following dawn, Daniel contacted Claire. His voice quavered as he revealed, "I have been self-centered. I transformed you into my prize, not my companion, and I refuse to continue existing this way." Claire's quietude felt weighty, yet then she responded, "Then demonstrate it. Transform not for me, not for your former wife, not for any observers. Transform for yourself." The journey proved challenging. Daniel began modestly. He ceased narrating stories about himself in every discussion. He started listening more attentively, discovering Claire's aspirations and anxieties. He contacted Amelia not for comparison, not for competition, but for atonement. She appreciated his gesture, offered her well wishes, and reminded him, "You were always sufficient, Daniel. You simply never accepted it." Months afterward, Daniel no longer dominated conversations. Yet when he clasped Claire's hand, it wasn't for display purposes. It was to provide her stability, to anchor himself. He understood the billionaire held no significance. The gossip held no importance. What mattered was affection that required no spectators. Therefore, what lesson emerges here? Arrogance can lead us to pursue illusions. Boasting can conceal hollowness. And comparisons can contaminate even our most joyful occasions. Yet humility, genuineness, and authentic love, these will perpetually eclipse status and riches. Daniel surrendered his pretense, yet gained something invaluable, the bravery to exist without proving anything to anyone. And perhaps that represents the wisdom for us all. Cease boasting about the existence you believe others wish to witness and begin constructing the life that genuinely fulfills you.